The power of composure under pressure defines true leadership, and this truth is demonstrated most clearly in moments where the stakes are high and the spotlight is unforgiving. When individuals find themselves in situations where emotions flare, tempers rise, and tension fills the air, it becomes evident who possesses the ability to rise above the chaos and maintain clarity. Composure is not merely about staying calm for the sake of appearances, but about demonstrating self-control, discipline, and the ability to think strategically when others might falter. It reflects an inner strength that allows a leader to navigate storms without letting the storm enter them, and it becomes a quality that inspires those who watch closely, especially in a world where conflict often draws more attention than resolution. When judges like John Roberts and Ketanji Brown Jackson face live confrontations, their ability to hold steady serves as a profound reminder that composure is an essential tool for influence and authority, and it becomes the invisible armor that shields one's credibility from the blows of criticism or the fire of heated debate. In life, whether in the courtroom, in politics, in business, or in personal relationships, pressure is inevitable. What differentiates leaders from followers is not the absence of pressure, but the way they respond to it. Composure is what allows one to slow down time in the midst of chaos, to process words carefully, to assess the weight of every action, and to respond in a manner that does not escalate but rather elevates the moment. Think of a judge sitting before a crowd, being confronted with sharp accusations or passionate challenges. Every facial expression, every pause, every word carries enormous significance. A single gesture can be interpreted as weakness or arrogance, while calmness projects stability and confidence. The leader who stays composed under pressure sends a silent but powerful message: I am not controlled by circumstances, I am in control of myself. This is the kind of influence that leaves lasting impressions long after the event is over. Composure under pressure also mastering one's own reactions so that clarity, fairness, and authority are preserved. The truth is that pressure exposes character. Anyone can seem confident when life is smooth, but when tension rises, composure reveals who has truly built inner strength. Leaders who crumble under pressure may lose credibility, while those who demonstrate calmness gain respect, even from their adversaries. The ability to remain composed does not mean suppressing passion or ignoring conflict, but channeling those emotions into constructive expression. It is about choosing reason over impulse, reflection over reaction, and dignity over disorder. For anyone striving to lead, this quality is not optional but essential, because real leadership often involves facing critics, skeptics, or outright opposition in ways that test patience and resolve. Those who pass the test by maintaining composure not only preserve their own integrity but also elevate the standard of discourse for everyone involved. Composure under pressure is also deeply tied to decision-making. When emotions are running high, poor decisions often follow because reactions are made hastily, without full consideration of consequences. A composed leader resists this trap. They know that silence can sometimes be more powerful than a rushed statement, and a well-timed response can carry more weight than an impulsive retort. This deliberate control gives them an edge, allowing them to frame the narrative rather than be consumed by it. For instance, when faced with a challenging confrontation live before the public eye, the decision to maintain steady composure prevents escalation and ensures that focus remains on the issues rather than on emotional drama. That ability to control the tone of an exchange is what sets apart those who lead with influence versus those who simply react beyond authority and trust. Composure creates space for clarity. In a world overwhelmed by noise, conflict, and constant reaction, the calm voice stands out. And resisting the temptation to react instantly to provocation. It is about remembering that no matter what is happening externally, the internal state of mind remains within your control. This perspective transforms challenges into opportunities, because every pressure-filled moment becomes a chance to demonstrate resilience and strength. It shows others that while circumstances may be unpredictable, your response will always be grounded, intentional, and aligned with your values. This consistency is what ultimately defines true leadership, because people remember not just what you say, but how you handle yourself when it matters most. Clashes reveal not weakness, but the strength of conviction and courage, and this becomes most evident when people stand unshaken in the midst of confrontation. Too often, society interprets conflict as something negative, as if disagreement automatically equals dysfunction, yet the reality is that some of the greatest moments of growth, justice, and transformation have been born from intense clashes of perspective. When voices collide and passions rise, what is really being tested is not who can shout the loudest, but who has the courage to hold their ground and articulate their beliefs with clarity. Strength does not come from avoiding conflict at all costs, it comes from facing it with conviction, because conviction is the anchor that keeps individuals steady when the winds of opposition blow fiercely. In those moments of public confrontation, what others see is not weakness but the courage to represent principles that matter deeply, even in the face of criticism or resistance. History is full of examples where clashes became defining points for leaders, reformers, and ordinary people alike. Every civil rights march, every courtroom battle, every political debate, and every social movement has been shaped by individuals who refused to retreat when challenged. The clash itself became proof of their strength, because it demonstrated their willingness to risk disapproval in order to defend their values. When Chief Justice Roberts or Justice Jackson find themselves in situations where voices rise against them, the mere act of standing calmly, they strip away pretense and reveal what truly matters, both to the one standing firm and to those observing. It is in the fire of confrontation that others realize this person believes deeply enough to endure discomfort, criticism, or even hostility, and that realization sparks respect even among opponents. Courage in these moments is not about aggression or domination, but about the inner strength to stay centered in the storm. It takes courage to resist the urge to react with anger, to choose measured responses instead of emotional outbursts, and to keep dignity intact while navigating harsh words or unfair treatment. Courage is demonstrated not just in the content of what is said, but in the manner it is said. The clash provides the opportunity for a leader to embody composure while still holding fast to conviction, proving that firmness does not need to come at the expense of respect. This balance of strength and restraint is what makes a clash transformative rather than destructive, showing that opposition does not need to break someone, it can build them into a figure of resilience and credibility. Clashes also highlight the humanity of leadership. To be confronted is to be seen as someone whose voice matters enough to be challenged. Avoiding clashes completely may appear peaceful, but it can also indicate passivity or unwillingness to engage on difficult issues. True leaders recognize that standing for something important will inevitably bring confrontation, because values worth defending will not be universally accepted. In that sense, a clash validates the weight of their stance. It affirms that their words carry enough influence to provoke response, and their resilience under such pressure demonstrates the depth of their belief. When Roberts or Jackson engage in these high-profile confrontations, it is not just a test of law or logic, but a reminder that leadership invites resistance, and that resistance becomes the proving ground of one's courage. Strength in clashes also inspires others who may be watching silently. Many people fear conflict, preferring to stay quiet rather than risk disagreement. But when they see someone confront opposition with poise and courage, it awakens something within them. It shows them that it is possible to endure a clash without losing self-respect, that conviction is worth more than the comfort of silence. This ripple effect empowers communities, workplaces, and entire societies, because one person's courage to face conflict gives permission for others to find their own voices. Strength displayed in confrontation multiplies, creating a culture where conviction is valued over conformity, and where courage is admired more than compliance. Clashes, then, are not moments of weakness but opportunities to model integrity. They reveal whether a person is consistent or easily swayed, whether their beliefs are performative or authentic. Those who stand firm demonstrate that their principles are not for sale and that their character cannot be shaken by temporary opposition. This kind of strength builds legacies, because history remembers not the absence of conflict but the way people handled conflict when it came. The legacy of Roberts and Jackson, like so many leaders before them, will not be written in how often they avoided tension, but in how they stood their ground with dignity in the midst of it. That example becomes a lesson for generations, that conviction and courage are not abstract virtues, they are lived realities proven when two forces collide. On a personal level, embracing clashes as opportunities rather than threats shifts the way individuals experience them. Instead of viewing confrontation as a danger to peace, it can be seen as a chance to showcase authenticity, to sharpen communication, and to build resilience. Clashes push people out of comfort zones and force them to articulate why they believe what they believe. They also test emotional control, demanding patience and strength even under provocation. Every clash that is endured with courage strengthens the ability to handle the next, making conviction stronger and courage more natural over time. This transformation ensures that individuals do not fear conflict but welcome it as a part of growth, knowing that each clash leaves them more resilient and more authentic than before. In every defining moment where public figures clash, what often goes unnoticed is the silent lesson about resilience, dignity, and the power of holding firm to values even when the stage becomes charged with tension. When leaders like Judge John Roberts and Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson stand in the midst of heated exchanges with figures such as Jasmine Crockett, what truly resonates is not just the legal arguments or political implications, but the deeper message about human endurance in the face of confrontation. Keynote number 3 reminds us that leadership is tested not in quiet agreement but in visible moments of challenge, where composure, clarity, and conviction converge. These moments do not simply reveal conflict, they reveal character, and they become living illustrations of how the most difficult interactions can become opportunities to model grace under fire. When people are placed under pressure in front of millions, the instinct to react quickly, defensively, or emotionally is overwhelming. Yet the ability to resist that urge and instead maintain dignity sends a far more powerful message than any words of anger could ever achieve. In the clash between Roberts, Jackson, and Crockett, the world was not only listening to what was being said but watching how it was being said. Leadership in these circumstances is as much about demeanor as it is about argument, and every pause, tone, and expression becomes a symbol of authority or vulnerability. The ability to preserve one's integrity under scrutiny demonstrates strength far greater than aggression ever could. It proves that a leader's power is not derived from overpowering others but from mastering themselves. These moments also reveal how confrontation can serve as a crucible for courage. Courage is not the absence of fear or doubt, but the willingness to step into discomfort and hold steady even when the outcome is uncertain. In a live clash, there is no rehearsal, no script to fall back on, and every response is permanent in the eyes of the audience. The choice to remain calm, to articulate firmly, and to stay consistent with values under that kind of spotlight reveals a depth of courage that resonates with those who are watching. People are not inspired by perfection but by authenticity, and when they see someone navigate a heated exchange without losing themselves, it reassures them that courage is not unattainable but a choice available to all. It is important to recognize that clashes like these are not disruptions to leadership, they are the very arena where leadership is forged. Leaders who shy away from confrontation may avoid temporary discomfort, but they also miss the opportunity to show the world the durability of their principles. The moment of challenge becomes a test, and how one responds determines whether others will see them as dependable and strong or fragile and uncertain. Roberts and Jackson, as public figures at the highest levels of the judiciary, understand that their words carry weight far beyond the immediate exchange. Every clash becomes part of their legacy, a recorded example of their ability to represent justice, dignity, and stability in the face of discord. These examples remind us all that when we are confronted in our own lives, the way we handle those moments can either weaken our influence or amplify it. Clashes also illuminate the broader truth that conflict is not an enemy but a catalyst. Without conflict, there is no growth, no testing of ideas, and no demonstration of resilience. Conflict forces individuals to examine the strength of their convictions and to sharpen their ability to communicate under strain. While many may avoid clashes to maintain surface peace, leaders recognize that facing them is what produces transformation. Conflict clarifies values, it forces deeper understanding, and it provides a platform for courage to be seen in action. In the courtroom, in politics, and in daily life, clashes become stages where authenticity is revealed and where true leaders distinguish themselves from those who are simply holding positions without conviction. The public nature of these confrontations also adds a layer of accountability. When clashes happen live, there is no opportunity to hide or to edit reactions. This unfiltered reality creates transparency that allows others to see who someone really is under pressure. Roberts and Jackson standing firm during live exchanges reflect not just their personal qualities but also their commitment to the integrity of the institutions they represent. This accountability magnifies the importance of composure, because one misstep can ripple far beyond the individual. For anyone watching, the takeaway is clear: if composure and conviction can be maintained in such intense environments, then surely resilience can also be cultivated in the challenges we face daily, even if the audience is smaller but the stakes feel just as high. At a deeper level, clashes such as these remind us that strength is not about dominating others but about elevating the standard of discourse. When two or more voices collide, there is always a temptation to reduce the exchange to hostility, yet those who maintain dignity shift the encounter from mere conflict to meaningful dialogue. They show that disagreement does not need to destroy respect, and that conviction does not have to cancel civility. This balance transforms a clash from spectacle to lesson, and in doing so, it inspires others to believe that they too can navigate their own conflicts without losing their values or their voice. Leadership in these instances becomes not just about winning an argument but about modeling the kind of behavior that uplifts others even in disagreement. Finally, clashes reveal the enduring truth that resilience is built in the arena of challenge, not in the comfort of agreement. When voices rise and pressure mounts, the choice to remain steadfast builds inner strength that cannot be developed any other way. Each clash faced with courage becomes part of a foundation that supports future challenges, reinforcing confidence and self-mastery. Just as Roberts and Jackson show that even in the sharpest confrontations dignity can prevail, individuals everywhere can recognize that every clash they face is an opportunity to prove to themselves that they are stronger, more resilient, and more capable than they once believed. This realization transforms clashes from moments of weakness into milestones of growth, marking the path of courage that defines